Hello and welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 355. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, and by his lonely self today, the one and only, Too Fresh Crash. Crash, how are you?
I'm doing good. I couldn't get Juke today, Fix.
I know. Imagine if I just said, Matt B video, and it's just you sat
you would have
there
got
like...
me for sure. This week would have been the week you got me.
What are you saying? You good, brother?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, man, we got so much to talk about. So we're late recording this week just because of scheduling for myself, unfortunately. I had a funeral to go to on Wednesday, which means I had to go get a new suit and a bunch of stuff, and it was just a whole conflicting issue of all that rubbish. But I'm fine. Don't people out there in the world, I'm all good. Don't stress. Like, everything's good. But yeah, so we couldn't record our normal day, and thankfully, the news gods showered upon us the treasures of what it is.
They showered upon us. They didn't. Because they were absolutely intending us to do that podcast and dropping the news.
So so I tricked the gods, really.
Yeah,
I tricked the
them.
news gods because they thought we were coming on Tuesday to record, but we didn't. So we got a hell of a lot of news. We got a hell of a lot of questions. So let's get into it. But if you didn't know, My Xbox and Me is our weekly Xbox podcast right here on youtube.com/myxboxandme, and of course all podcast services. If you would like to support the show financially, and I would hope that you do. We don't put ads in our podcasts. We are supported by the people. You head over to patreon.com/mcfixer. Big shout out to our Patreon producers this week, Erengard and FNH Paul, who have been keeping the lights on week after week after week after week after month. Thank you very much, boys. I miss FNH Paul. He's back in America, and it makes me sad. But hey, that's life. That's life.
I don't know why overseas over here it's just been feeling so much better for the last little while.
America got 20% better because Paul's back.
Yeah,
because Paul's
absolutely.
back. Topic of the show this week, shocker. I say shocker. The topic of the show is not a shocker, I'm sure, but the conversation we're about to have around it may be a little bit surprising to people. Starfield and Redfall both delayed to the first half of 2023. Bethesda put out as everybody does nowadays, their little image saying everything. Don't know why we do this. I guess it's because you can get more words in this other than a tweet. So yeah, and it reads like this. We've made the decision to delay at the launch of Redfall and Starfield to the first half of 2023. The teams at Arcane Austin, Redfall, and Bethesda Game Studios, Starfield, have incredible ambitions for their games, and we want to ensure that you receive the best, most polished version of them. We want to thank everyone for their excitement for Redfall and Starfield. That energy is a huge part of what inspires all of us every day and drives our own excitement for what we are creating. We can't wait to share our first deep dive into gameplay for both Redfall and Starfield soon. Thank you for your support. Toplift has this to say: with the delays of Redfall and Starfield, WDO? What the hell is that, Chris? I'm old.
I don't think the W is supposed to be there.
Do
I copied
you
and pasted it, so I think it's
Xbox will announce a game from another studio to take the holiday spot? If so, which studio do you think is most likely to be? We'll answer that afterwards, Toplift. Let's talk about the big delay here, though, which is Starfield and Redfall being delayed, Crash. Surprised?
No. Starfield, yes. Redfall, no.
Okay.
Starfield was less a surprise because there was the rumor that recently stories have come out about people like, oh, it wasn't looking too good and all that.
Yeah.
So with that, it sort of makes sense that the delay is happening now, but it's still a little surprising because they were very hard set on this is coming out November 11th for sure, and they repeated it several times.
I think it's that we've seen Xbox do this before, though, right? Like we've seen PlayStation delay games, and now we're seeing Xbox do it. I guess is a better way of saying it because, again, quality is everything, and I've said that I've been on this podcast for 5 years now, and I've been beating this drum for a long time, which is Xbox cannot afford 7s, 6s, 7s. I hate to say it. even 8s. Like, not that doesn't make it a good game. Not that doesn't really portray the way we think as gamers what things are, but for the general consensus and for the industry, and I hate to say it, but for the fanboys a little bit, like, and I know we don't love the fanboys, but again, they're backing it for either side, so you want to give them something to cheer about. At the end of the day, you do want that.
Yeah.
You want that back and forth. Xbox need 9s and 10s. That's what they need from their next 4 or 5 games that come out. Not if it's a smaller title, but something like Starfield can't come out and be buggy. It can't come out and be a mess.
I was gonna say like a Redfall, I think could be an 8, and I think
would be fine.
Redfall being
yeah,
8. Yeah, but it would have to be an 8. We can't have another. I forget it every time I want to bring it up.
Bleeding Edge.
Bleeding Edge. We can't have another Bleeding Edge where it's like, oh, here's this game and it's this interesting gameplay type, and then it comes out and it's just like, oh, this just isn't it. So with Redfall, it really is like that needs to at least hit the 8, which it's a talented studio. I'm sure that they can do it.
100%.
And same thing with Starfield. I think it's just a case of like they need more time and they really need to polish it. And Microsoft saw with Halo, it's like if you want to hit a deadline, even if you feel like you need to, sometimes it's better to just delay.
Yep. Yeah. I'm with you on the. I'm not surprised by Starfield. The only stuff we've seen is we saw some leaked gameplay that got leaked not too long ago, and obviously the little, what was it, the CG trailer for that game.
Yeah.
But we hadn't seen anything. I wasn't surprised that got delayed.
Yeah.
Starfield for me is like, interesting. Like, it does surprise me a little bit because obviously we've seen what they've done with Fallout in terms of like not showing anything, not talk about it really in a big way, and then you come out and boom, you have your big hurrah. Now we're gonna have the big hurrah without the release of the game in a a soon to be sense. It's still kind of soon. The early 2023, still kind of soon.
It'll be a year.
Yeah,
about a year since the game's shown.
Bro,
if we get it at the Microsoft Bethesda show.
No,
which I assume we do.
Don't hit me with ifs. No if buts, and babies.
There's always an if. That soon does not give a date. There is no date attached to that soon.
Fresh prediction. Oh, I think we might see Redfall come on the pod. Oh, I think
that's what
maybe.
I'm setting it up for. I just want to set up like it might not be there.
Whatever. No, we're guaranteed to see both of these games now in a big sense. I feel like at the Microsoft Bethesda showcase. Yeah, I'm not sad. And maybe again, maybe it's a case of with most people, if you're listening, you know this. I'm not the Bethesda guy. I'm probably more excited for Redfall than I am. No, there's no probably. I am way more excited for Redfall than I am Starfield. So
this is a horrible episode for Matt not to be here.
Yes,
because Matt's the Bethesda guy.
Yeah,
Matt's the one who would have like the hard take on this.
Yeah, definitely.
I will say I'm kind of. Part of me is kind of glad that the game got delayed. Not that people are gonna have to wait to play it, but that it does, at least to me, to a degree, show that maybe they're trying to get this game more polished than they have past games, which we don't know the internal cycle of past games and all that. So
true.
They might have revealed it where it's like, okay, we can reveal it because we know it's coming out. Here, it's like they had hoped it came out. We don't know all that stuff. But for me, hopefully it is a case where when Starfield does come out, there's a lot of those like tiny bugs that get annoying over time that aren't in the game. Obviously, it's an open world game. Open world games tend to have bugs. I'm not gonna say that there should be no bugs, although that would be nice. That's not realistic. Me, right? I just hope we get the best possible game out of this, and I'm sure we will.
My thing is this delay because the game isn't good, or is this the delay because of polish? And the thing that scares me is this isn't a polished delay. This is fundamentally, there are things that are wrong with this game, and that's why it's late. That's hyperbole. That's just my thought process. I don't know anything. There's no insider knowledge here, but that's what worries me.
I want to say I don't think that's the case. Like, that's obviously very possible, but I feel like if that was the reason for the delay, they wouldn't have given us the first half of the year. Like, I think they would have just given us a generic, like, delay till 2023 and not delay to the first half of 2023.
I think video games are expensive to make, and I think they're probably just getting to the point.
Just
They've
no matter
probably got
what.
to the point where it's like, hey, we got to put this out. Like, I think the thing we got to remember is this game has been in development for a long time, really.
Yeah.
Just because we think of, well, I'll speak for myself. I think of Bethesda Studios as like a new thing now. Again, it's also almost like a revamp because Microsoft have bought them, you know? But you've got to remember, this has been in the works. The whatever problems were there have been there from day one. This isn't Microsoft have come in. I hope Microsoft have come in and been like, looked at it and gone, yeah, this needs to be delayed. That's what I hope has happened.
But that I
doubt it.
I understand. But if that's what happened, I feel like we would have gotten this delay a while ago and not now.
No, I think that's the stay face for the fans, though. I think that's
fair.
That's
to be fair, they have had kind of not the best year this year so far.
I don't think it. Can I be honest? I don't think anyone's had a great year so far.
No, absolutely not.
Do you know what I'm like? I'm playing. I'm playing Tunic.
Software.
From Software had a great year.
From Software, yeah.
Did you see in the Discord there was
Oh yeah, I saw. I was like, you don't want to join the game.
If you're not in the Discord, you should join it. It's in the description below of the video version and the podcast version now. The audio, I should say. Sorry. There was someone put in the and you're skipping my mind. That's why I apologize. But like, are people just sick of hearing about Elden Ring? And I'm like, fam, just let people have fun. If people are still loving Elden Ring, let them love Elden Ring, man. Let them love Elden Ring. I will say Matt P needs to hurry up and stop talking about it that he's playing there. But, you know, whatever.
Every time he brings it up, me and Matt go into a tangent. I know. Say that.
I know.
Every single time.
That's life. That's life. Yeah, not surprised by this news. Not surprised. Delays are only good for people, yada, yada, yada. The question that Tov left asked, though. Do you think Xbox will enact something to replace it? I don't. No way.
I don't know. Like, part of me is like Avowed, but I don't think Avowed's like ready to be put out.
Bro,
so it's not a case.
You spoke about Avowed the other day about like, oh yeah, it's closer than we've. I'm like, bro, we might not. I still don't think we're seeing it. I still don't think we're seeing that. Like, no, I'm not.
So it's a case of where like maybe like Avowed is really the only game where I'm thinking like maybe they could push in a surprise release for Avowed, but like that game probably isn't ready to be put out in November.
No.
So it's like, what do you put? The better question that I've seen a lot of people talking about is Game Pass. What do you like? Game Pass has no big title for the last part of this year. And do you think they need to get something for Game Pass?
Yes. If this is the look, we've said this before, right? Like, you need to feed this Netflix are struggling with it right now. They're losing subscribers head over fist, you know? Like, you need to feed the audience. And the one thing Xbox and games do have a little bit different from Netflix is Xbox have gone out and gone to the third parties and gone, okay, we will buy up this and this and this. And there was an article that came out about, oh my God, the game is slipping my mind now. But there was an article that came out that I read, which was like, putting the game on Game Pass, we made way more money on Game Pass than we did on PlayStation.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I think it was Trek No Yami, wasn't it?
Oh,
and
no.
It wasn't from a developer. If you're talking about the same article I'm talking about,
I'm not sure.
I'm thinking of, it was somebody who was being speculative on it.
I
don't know if they put out their own game on Game Pass, but they were talking about a game that wasn't theirs in particular.
Got you. Well, either way, I think developers are eating. So I feel like Xbox could probably go to somebody. And now they've got a little bit of an opening. They're going, okay, we ain't got this, and we ain't got this, and we ain't got this, which they've known forever, by the way. Like this has been known. Like they've just
something in the works. I would feel
like. I think they might surprise us with a game that they still got like 2 Point Campus is coming on Game Pass. You've got there's I know that's not AAA, but there are a few.
They have games though, like they have newly releasing games on there.
Yeah, brand new.
I check it out all the time, and it's like, oh, these games are coming out, and what I've started doing is add them to my to playlist, which I feel like at some point is just gonna get ridiculously long, and I'm not gonna play a whole bunch of those games.
Yeah,
but I've been seeing a lot of those. I wonder if there's a possibility that Gotham Knight ends up on there. And if
that would be huge.
Gotham Knights is enough to
that would be enough
Starfield.
to.
Do you think it would be enough?
I think it would be enough. I don't think it happens.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, like I'd love it. Hey,
Yeah.
don't get it twisted. I'd love it. I'd love, you know me. I want all these games on Game Pass. That's why we
Yeah.
wanted. That's why we wanted
Yeah.
WB like getting bought by Xbox and stuff like that. But no, that's a AAA game. Anything in the Batman universe, you know, like it's easy to sell.
Yeah.
I feel like we
That's
get
fair.
games like it's skipping my mind now. The Square Enix one, Outriders.
Outriders.
Not
Yeah.
there ain't love for that. People are gonna buy
It's a new IP as well. Yeah.
Gotham Knights. Well, Gotham Knights technically a new IP, right? Technically, it's in the same. Well, I guess it's not a new IP. I guess not. It's not. I guess it's not. No, I guess it's not a new IP. It's this new. I don't know.
I don't know from what's been announced, and we don't know if something's gonna be announced like, oh, it's coming out this holiday season, right?
Yeah.
From what's been announced that we know is coming out in the holiday season, I don't know what I look at and I'm like, that could fit the Starfield role for Game Pass.
I don't. I get, but again, the problem we're comparing a company that was bought for how many billions to
Right, but I'm just talking about a game.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's not many games and game companies out there that can stand up to a Bethesda game the way people love them.
No.
So I get.
Absolutely,
No, I get you.
but
I get what you're saying.
Like ballpark range, not even like hitting it on a 1-to-1, but hitting it in that ballpark range. I don't know of many games releasing that could do it, and I don't know what Microsoft does to it. We do have another question that I actually didn't add here. It's from give me 1 second to find it.
Yeah, you're all good.
It's right here. Do you think with no Starfield or Redfall this year, will Microsoft push for Modern Warfare 2 on Game Pass from Dova Targaryen? I don't think so.
No, I think that's still a legal thing where they're not going to be able to. Like, I mean, I think technically, I guess they could probably, because they probably have good relationships, but no.
I don't think they'd want to do that at this point to like mess up the chance of anything going wrong with that. They want it to be as clean as possible. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. I don't think they'll hit anything for Game Pass. But luckily, like I don't think
what about like
had
a Saints Row? Saints Row, they go to THQ Nordic, aka that holder company. That's a big title, a big enough title. It's the reboot. How much money can you? That's a big title, bro. It's a big title.
Yeah, I think that depends on how that game is, because that could very much, in my opinion, be a outer. Well, you just said the name.
Outriders.
Outriders. It could be an Outriders situation where it's like, oh, they got this game, and then as soon as it releases, it's like it's kind of a dud. I don't think that would hit that. But to be fair, like that is definitely a possibility. Saints Row.
Saints Row's got a big name. Is all I'm saying.
It does. It has a name. Absolutely.
Is it? It's not bloody.
Nothing's gonna compare to Starfield.
Yeah.
As far as most people are concerned, there were 2 nominees for Game of the Year this year: Starfield and Elden Ring for a lot of people, and one of those just fell off the map.
Is it?
Unfortunately for this year.
Maybe we'll talk about it next week, and we'll go through all the games. Has it been a bad year for games so far? We'll talk about it next week. We'll talk about it next week. We'll talk about it next week. I'm putting it out there. I am not the person to talk to about this, Mr. GTA roleplay, and then I play I literally played Tunic in my little corner for a couple of hours. I'm like, this is fun, and that's about it. Let's move on and jump into Fix Us Out. We got more questions. Remember, you can email in myxboxandmepodcast@gmail.com or hit us up on Twitter with the hashtag MXAM @MCFixer @CrashnickPlays. First question from Indie Flick. A video game studio approaches you guys to make a My Xbox and Me game. Which studio would you like this to be, and what style of game would it be? I'm thinking a side-scrolling beat-em-up style of Battletoads. Not bad. Me, Crash, and Matt, all, going through, fighting their way through. What are we beating up, though?
Wait, you are incorrect. Haley would have to be included.
I've got
in that. Haley.
No, that's at the end of. That's at the end when you beat the game.
You
the unlockable character Haley. Come on,
that makes sense.
We don't have that replayability. I mean, I've always said this though. I've always wanted. Imagine like a Nintendo Me version of Mario Party, but it's like you make yourself, like Xbox Connect. That's what we'll go with.
Yeah.
Your Connect avatar. I've always wondered why they've never done more with avatars and those type of games.
it was a gimmicky feature when it first dropped.
Agree.
Attached to gimmicks.
Agree.
I think if
Agree.
they reapproach it now, it could be huge.
Like, I just
Um,
kart races. I'm
yeah.
talking, and I know that's not technically a My Xbox and Me style game, but that's what I would make.
There is I don't know the correct way to put it, but there is this cheap aspect to it. And I don't mean that literally because games are expensive to make, obviously. But there is this cheap aspect to see like these little 3D characters you make yourself being in stuff you already associate with something like Mario Party.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of like, how do you market past that is the difficult thing.
You make the game. You are the pie. Yeah, sound like that. I don't know.
I think Xbox needs to hire you. Clearly.
Yo, Xbox. Phone me, man. Phone me. I've got free time. Kind of.
I want to give a shout out to Canada for this answer, because when this question was asked in emotes, Canada responded with MOBA and emotes by upvoting each one of the letters.
Oh my!
So shout out to Canada.
The idiot. What's your go-to game? Like, what would you, if you could make a game that you're in? Would you like to be the star of the game, like an Uncharted or a Gears, or like, to me that seems weird. Like, I wouldn't want that.
Yeah, but I can't see it, and I don't think I'd like it, just simply because like, even when I play games and I make characters in games, I don't model the characters after me ever. I'm never playing as me. So even in the case of something like this, it's like I don't know. But for the sake of like having something fun to do, I think hit the nail on the head with a beat 'em up side scroller. I think that could be fun.
The Battletoads team did a good job with Battletoads as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll get them in, and yeah, Haley's a playable character. You pick up Nando's chicken, of course, as your health.
Well, you can change it up. Nando's chicken, pizza, not
pizza.
Domino's.
We've had a lot of pizza. We've had a lot of pizza bets. Good point. Not Domino's. I think that's what the pizza's called. Not Domino's.
Right.
What else do we talk about on the pod? What inside jokes? Oh, potatoes.
Gotta somehow.
You gotta have potatoes around.
But what would the enemies be? That's
letters for me.
Just fighting letters. We're gonna help fix Reed today.
For me, it'd be words. For Matt, it would be PlayStations. And for you, what would it be for you?
I don't know.
I don't know. What's your kryptonite? I don't know. You have to write in. We need to know what Crush is scared of.
Let me know what I'm scared of. Let me know what I'm terrified of.
That would be good. Next question comes from Origin Cookie Man. Because I say it so far sometimes it doesn't even sound right. Like, I saw the clip back from the other day and I was like, I said it wrong. It's like, no, you just talk too fast. Slow down. Apparently, there is news expected this week of an annual sales and sales forecast from both Sony and Nintendo. What do you predict the short/medium term impact of these reports will be on Xbox? Didn't some news drop? I'm pretty sure some news technically dropped.
This news did drop. The financial reports have dropped. I haven't looked into them at all. So I don't know. We don't care, and I don't think Xbox cares.
Yeah,
because Xbox has talked about it like they're not our competitors right now. And even if they were, I don't think you'd make plans as a response in the short term or medium term. I think it would be very long term, and even then, I think Microsoft's going to stick to whatever they're doing because it is working for them, and they have been slowly but surely shifting their image more positive and more positive, and getting better and better reception.
I think for me, it's I always see, every time I look online, and maybe it's because I'm in my echo chamber, but I do follow a lot of PlayStation people and Nintendo people as well. But I do just keep seeing Xbox fastest selling console compared to its previous generation, or Xbox hits this, or Xbox is that, or Game Pass numbers this, or Game Pass numbers that. And for me, I'm just like, the amount that is out there in the world is only going to keep getting greater and greater and greater, right? I think the numbers out there, last time I looked, was like PlayStation's like 17.3 million PS5 consoles, and Xbox is not that far behind, but the problem is we don't know the exact amount for Xbox because they don't share those numbers. But we know that Xbox is killing it on the front of Game Pass and a bunch of other things that have come out.
Yeah.
The Series S is moving units like crazy.
Yeah.
So
And also, Xbox isn't only consoles, it's also what happens on PC, and that ecosystem as well benefits them. So it's
yeah.
also a hard thing to gauge in that sense. But I think Xbox will keep doing its thing. It's been working fantastic for them.
It's around
so
12
far.
million units, the Series X right now.
Is that Series X and S?
And
or is
S,
it
the
just
the
X?
series, the new
Got
series
it.
family sort of thing. Yeah.
Got it.
But yeah, I think that their revenue reported of like 16.28 billion for 2021, the calendar year. Like gaming's up 17.7%, content's
Yeah.
up 8.8%, hardware revenue's obviously up because the consoles are out there. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I have a question. So I don't know if you caught it, but they were talking about how streaming revenue in general for like Twitch and stuff like that have dropped, and streaming services. Do you think that ends up falling over into gaming services at all?
Huh. No, because I think no, it's just it's a total different medium, number one. And I don't think any company out there, unfortunately, apart from people like Stadia and Luna, they're not reliant upon a streaming device, right? That's not what their
Right.
only thing is. And I think that's where you've seen Stadia go wrong or Luna go wrong. I'm sure they've got their dedicated audiences, but that's why it's not become an Xbox, a PlayStation, a Nintendo,
Right.
a PC. Like, you need to diversify your portfolio, and I think that's why, like, I reckon we'll see at some point, we're going to see a huge spike in cloud when the infrastructure keeps getting better and better and better. We get our streaming device, which we plug into our TV, all that, whatever, and then we'll see it plummet for a little while, and then it will just plateau. It'll plateau out, and it'll be another sector of Xbox. But I don't see in the next 10 years that it's going to really take over. I don't. It's just not there yet, personally. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't think Xbox cares. Everyone's making money. Everybody is making really good money. So who cares? This next one is from Sarah Squid. I think we're going to end the questions here. We'll save the rest of them for next week. PAX East happened recently. It was the first big gaming convention since the beginning of the pandemic. All eyes were on PAX to see how we, as a society, could handle the return of in-person events. Kotaku posted an article earlier today, as of writing, about PAX East enforcer, volunteer assistants for the event, had passed away from COVID-19 that they caught from PAX. She probably isn't the only one either. She's just the one to get a headline. I don't think we're ready for cons to return if the con organisers can't even protect their own volunteers. No one should have to die so everyone can hang out in crowded spaces to talk about video games. I don't have a question this week. I just want to remind everyone the pandemic isn't over and we need to be careful, not just ourselves, but for other people too. Please be safe, everyone. Now, usually, I won't read that, it's not a question, but Sarah Squid deserves our respect for everything she does for this community. And not only that, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. If you've got underlying health issues, especially, and if you are somebody who doesn't even know you've got an underlying health issue, I can't sit here and pretend that my life has pretty much gone back to normal as of right now. But that being said, I'm a hermit that stays indoors all day long. So my luxury is just walking to the shop without having to put a mask on, and all the shops around me still have like plastic up and stuff like that. Like people haven't totally forgot. I've had to get on a few trains lately. I'm still seeing masks out there in London. So be careful, people. You know, just a bit of advice. Be careful. Don't take unnecessary risks. Just because it's not in the headlines right now doesn't mean that things can't go wrong. I am still going to cons, so I'm sure Sarah's not happy with me, but I am being very cautious. I am obviously sanitizing and stuff like that, and the problem we've got is this is something we just got to live with at this point, right? Like, I feel like that's where we're at.
I don't think we ever get to a point where COVID's completely gone.
Yeah.
But hopefully at some point COVID will be the flu, where it's like it's COVID season. COVID's gonna be going around a lot right now. Just be mindful, get revaccinated, and whatever
Yeah.
boosters you need.
Or
Yeah.
don't, but live with the consequences of not doing.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Have we got any other you wanted to touch on, Crush, that we haven't got to yet? Question wise? Yeah. There's a
no,
lot.
I think we can leave the rest when Matt's here.
Yeah.
Next
I don't
week.
want to let Matt down. You know, there's a few good ones in there. Let's jump into what's been in our box this week, Crash. What you been playing, dude?
I've played Trek to Yomi.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think?
Artistically, that game is very, very intriguing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. It looks beautiful. It's a beautiful
Yes. Oh, absolutely. There's some parts where you're transitioning from like a 3D to 2D point of view, and the landscape is fantastic. The gameplay is a little bit
boring.
Dull. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yep.
It's a little bit dull. And the narrative is just sort of cool.
It's a game that's very reliant upon its art style.
Yes, and the art style is absolutely phenomenal. But everything else about that game, I do not want to. It does not make me want to play that game. It does not give me a reason to play it.
Yeah, I played it at EGX Rezzed, and I had fun with it for the little time that I played it. And then I've downloaded it on Game Pass, and I'm like, okay, let's see if it changes up a bit, and it doesn't. There's no. I just feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. Which, again, it's not a bad game, and if you enjoy, especially if you enjoy that type of art style, that type of environment, you again, like Chris said, it does change perspective from 2D to 3D. There's some cool stuff that's done there, but yeah, no, it's not. I played it and was like, oh yeah, I'm not finishing this. I've played it. I'm good. I don't need to play anymore.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
It is for sure worth checking out for, like you said, for people who are into that. If you're into like samurais and all that sort of stuff, it's definitely worth it, especially if you have Game Pass.
Yep.
I also played Euden Chronicle Rising.
Christian.
Which,
you just spoke gibberish to me. What the hell is that?
It's a RPG.
Okay.
It is a action RPG. You could call it a hack and slasher, and very similar to Trek to Yomi, which I was surprised because I played these games back to back. Artistically, a very interesting game. Not quite as good as Trek to Yomi, but it's again gameplay that's just sort of a little boring,
repetitive.
And mind you, I played like half an hour, so I don't know if it gets better.
Yeah.
But I found myself asking myself, do I want to get to the point where it might get better without like a definitive answer to it? And in a similar case, it's a story that's just sort of not very intriguing to me, unfortunately.
That's a shame.
And then I played more Overwatch.
You're in again.
Really,
you're sucked in again.
I really enjoyed it. I forgot. When I played it,
Overwatch 2.
I forgot how much Overwatch 2. I forgot how much I enjoyed Overwatch 1 when I played it. And I really did enjoy Overwatch 1.
Did we? Did I get the question for that? I think there's a question about it for next week. Next week. Next week, there's a question about it. We'll talk about it next week. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm happy for you. I do still think it's a little bit weird that they've done all this redesign and name and all that, but
next week.
Next week. What have I been playing? I played more Tunic. Beat that boss that I couldn't get past for a second. I found my sword, so I'm very happy about that. And then I got a bit lost. I couldn't find where I was meant to go next, and I started getting a little bit frustrated. And then I was like, okay, just gonna walk away for a second, and I will come back and I will continue playing because that game is so relaxing. Though it's challenging, very relaxing. The art style is so nice. Yeah, playing it on PC as well, and then playing it on mouse and keyboard, and I'm just like, yeah, man, this works. This works, and I enjoy it. Yeah. Well, I like it. I mean, other people might not like it, but I like it. And I'm just like, yeah, I can see what they're doing, and I'm having fun with it. I just know it's one of those games that I'm like, okay, do I want to figure this out, or do I want to just go and get the answers and just experience it? And I'm leaning towards getting the answers and just experiencing it.
Do whatever makes you enjoy the game the most.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at, because I was just like, where do I have to go? I can't figure this out. But I was like, okay, I'll try again. I'll try again when I've got more hours to like figure it out, you know? Because again, I'm only planning like 1 hour stints, maybe even less than that, maybe half an hour to 45 minutes sometimes. So I'm just like, yeah, I will wait. I will wait. But yeah, love the game. I think it's a lot of fun. And yeah, it's very. When I beat that boss, I was like, oh, I did that.
It felt
was
satisfying.
Me. That was me. I found
That's
that
me.
sword. I did that.
No cheese.
Exactly. Yeah. That was the good thing about it. It's like a Souls-like game that I didn't cheese a boss on. I'm like, yeah. Let's move on to this week's dashboard. The news. The Xbox network should be up by now. It is, but some users are still reporting issues. Slayer had this to say: does last week's server outages that left players unable to access any games on their Xbox highlight a major problem if we move to a full cloud gaming going forward? And does it seem ridiculous that we can't even play non-Game Pass owned games without an Xbox server connection on our consoles now? Yes, and it's fucking bollocks. I just want people to know. I am one of those people that I'm like, my information, you can have it. I'm fine with this all new online world. Everything has to be connected, blah, 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 blah. But we have to figure out a way where you can play your offline games. I can't play a game of FIFA against my friends, but if I don't have internet or whatever, I'm using that as an example. I don't know. You're
talking about locally,
yes,
not online.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm just, yes, it's stupid. It's stupid. Yeah. It's stupid. It's stupid, and it has to be fixed.
Yeah, I mean, people have always known that's what you get when you buy a digital game, though. You don't technically own that game.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
But we have to figure. I understand the reason. The reason behind it is piracy and other things like that. I understand the reason why we can't, but it's stupid. I don't care what anybody says. It's stupid. It's like, come on, man. Like, it's not our fault the network's down. We don't control if the network stays up, but also, we've invested in your ecosystem. We should be able to play the games we want to play.
It's also a tough sell when one of your consoles is digital only.
Do you think?
Be like, hey, you can't play any of your games on this console's useless to you because you can't play them.
It's a brick.
Maybe if you downloaded them to the what's it called? The external memory card, and it worked somehow like that, or something to make it work that you could play physically. Yeah. But as far as like Xcloud goes, like I don't think Xcloud will ever be primary form of gaming.
It's never
not in our lifetime. Not in our lifetime.
I mean, you're younger than me, so maybe in your lifetime. No,
maybe in my lifetime. Fix those.
No way, I'm too old.
Past the deadline.
But no, it's never gonna. I don't think it's ever gonna happen. We're never gonna move to a full cloud gaming world where there isn't people playing on a PC or a console. I just don't see it. It's an additive. It's not a take away and replace. I just don't see it.
There's a lot of people all over the world that enjoy gaming that do not have a stable enough internet connection, and I don't necessarily see that changing to the point where they could play games.
Well, Xbox are not gonna want to just remove Brazil.
Exactly.
They're not gonna just want to remove Indian players or wherever. I'm just using these countries as an example, by the way. Like Indonesia, wherever it is, you're not just gonna want to go, we're losing those fans, we're losing all those players, because they still buy games. Like, it's not like they're not buying games. It's not like they're not enjoying games.
Yeah. And we've talked about it, like, where streaming games doesn't require, like, the minimum amount of internet. It requires, like, good internet that people even in America don't have. So even talking about, like, those countries outside of it is, like, people in America don't meet those minimum requirements. And there are countries with worse internet infrastructure than America who probably won't meet those requirements anytime soon. So it'd be kind of dumb for Microsoft to go, like, we don't care about your service anymore. We're just going to go full cloud.
Yep. Next one is all about Xbox Cloud Gaming, because it brings Fortnite to its device. So Xbox Cloud Gaming now officially has Fortnite to PC and iOS all for free. It's all there. They put out a big Xbox Gaming Cloud growth article that came out that broke down a few numbers that they gave us. So there's over 10 million people who have streamed games through Xcloud now in the beta as part of Game Pass Ultimate. Xbox have partnered with Epic for Fortnite to be available via Xcloud, which is amazing. Xcloud has been used on over 6,000 different types of devices. From Android to I think they don't say iOS, obviously they say iPhone because they can't say, I guess that's because of the store, maybe, I'm not sure. And PCs, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. And obviously now they have it baked into the app as well on PC. I haven't seen on console. I think it's there on console as well.
It is on console.
Yeah. But shout out to Xbox. They're doing their thing. Shout out to Fortnite.
Because Fortnite absolutely
it's huge.
Didn't need to do this.
No, not in any way, shape, or form.
Available on those platforms. So there's absolutely no incentive to do them. I imagine like the big struggle
to Apple.
to Apple. I'm sure there was some sort of discussion as well between Microsoft and Fortnite in terms of like revenue that's made off of the service.
I reckon it's probably just
money.
It's just, bro, it's like anything, right? I think it's a little bit like these old companies who refuse to make content. You're like, you see like people like Gary Vee and people like that, I'm sure, who you've seen on TikTok, like companies need to make content sort of thing. I feel like it's like that where Epic get it, where they're like, oh yeah, we should just be a part of everything and we'll make money from everything. Instead of going, we have to own and control and be like, they're just like, bro, like,
because that's the money they would be missing otherwise.
Exactly. Jeff Keighley made a big announcement on Twitter. Summer Games Fest set for June 9th, 2022. Remember, people, this is our E3 that's not E3 now. Like, E3's dead, so this is what this is. So you've got this on the 9th. We've got Xbox on the 11th? 12th? Okay, yeah, sounds right. And I'm sure we're going to see a bunch more things around this.
I think 505 Games already announced one for
May
14th.
I'm not watching it. Not after last time. They burnt me already. They said
there's going to be one or two surprises, though. No, I don't blame you. I just thought it would be worth mentioning.
Yep. No, not getting done again. No chance. No. Do you remember they did that weird interview thing last time? I believe it was them. Then it was just no. I don't know. I don't remember. If it wasn't them, I'm sorry for burying you there, 505.
I don't think it was 505 Games. I could be wrong about that.
Who was it then? Do you know what one I'm talking about?
I know the one you're talking about, and it might have been 505. I know it was one of the smaller publishers. I don't think it was 505 Gaming.
Was it Koch?
I think it might have been Koch.
Might have been Koch Media. Might have been.
I think it was Koch Media.
It weren't good.
No.
Sorry, 505. Maybe I'll give you a chance then. Maybe I will give you a chance.
I know the exact one you're talking about.
When I figure out who burnt me the last time, I'm not watching yours.
That's the one you're not watching.
Yeah, but other people's I'm willing to give a chance. But if you burn me again, I'm dead. You're dead to me. All right? But yeah, good news. Obviously, I think Jeff is actually now the last few Summer Game Fests. Is now the big show from Summer Game Fest. Not the... I don't love the... We've got this here and that there and this here and that there. But hey, that's what he wants to do. Cool. I'll tune into what I care about. You tune into what you care about, you know?
I just want to remind people, do not go into the expectations with this show of it being a E3.
Sure.
Because E3 is also multiple shows normally. And then plus on top of that, we are still... Starfield got delayed because of COVID. I'm sure that's one of the reasons that went into it. So we probably might not get the biggest announcements, and if we do, they might still be super far off. So go into it with tempered expectations.
He's not wrong. He's not. Crash, we lived in the golden age of gaming at one
didn't
point,
appreciate
bro.
it.
We didn't appreciate. You know those long nights of waking up and doing pre-show, post-show, watch a show, pre-show, post-show, watch a show, pre-show, post-show. I miss that so much. I miss it so much.
It was a really good time of the year.
And now it's just gone.
Yeah.
And it's way smarter now, by the way, for every other company.
Oh, absolutely.
But I wish they didn't wake up to it.
I still think Apex started it. Shout out to Apex. Whenever they did their reveal.
Yeah, well.
Or maybe you give it to Bethesda who did it. No, because Bethesda always does the show.
No,
The
because
show
Bethesda was
weird, but
still
they've always
part
done
of. It was still
E3.
part of that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you could say EA. EA. Well, you could say EA because they pulled away and did their EA Play. They kind of started it.
Yeah, but it was always in place. It was like in tandem with EA with
No, it
E3.
weren't. No, it was
Was it a
separate.
completely
No,
different
never.
date?
It was always separate, but it was just always placed around. It was always like,
But that's what I'm saying.
Free-
It's
no,
in
no.
like the same.
but it was like 3 days before or 4 days before, so you still had a
but
break.
That's
Nah.
still E3. That's
Yeah,
still
but-
E3 season. It's the precursor to E3. It's when
Yeah,
you
but-
see hear the birds chirping and you see the sun rising earlier and all that.
You can see the leaves on the tree starting to turn color. Like, whatever. Get out of here. Next piece of news: Gotham Knights PS4 and Xbox One versions cancelled.
Oh no.
Top Lift says, "What are your guys' thoughts on the decision to cancel last gen ports of Gotham Knights?" I'm happy about it. Okay, but that sounds like I'm happy that people are not getting it. Again, I'm not happy that some people will not be able to experience this game now if you're on an Xbox One or a PS4. That's not what I'm saying. But selfishly, I'm happy about it because it means they're going to focus on the Series X, PC, PS4 versions, PS5 versions, sorry, which means in tandem we should get a better product.
I wouldn't hold out that it'd be much better of a product than we would have got before. I think what ended up happening is that they got far enough along in the process where they were trying to polish and fix bugs that were only in the last gen versions of the game. And it ended up being too much work for them where they were like, we could keep doing this half and half thing, or we could put all our attention on the next gen versions and just cut our losses there, which is what I think they did. And I think that is the right call for them.
I guess.
Do you
I guess.
Not agree with that?
No.
Because like for them to have like made any significant changes to the game, like this decision would have to have made a while ago.
Yeah, but it might have been. Just because they're announcing it now doesn't mean that. This is what I'm
Maybe,
saying.
I
These
don't think
companies,
so.
don't trust these companies. Like, these companies are making these decisions far out. They're just like, we'll announce it when we think the time is right. And apparently now was the time was right. With the gameplay, it was like a double hit, wasn't it? It was a double whammy. It was like, have some gameplay, and we cancelled the other versions.
Yeah, yeah. Here's something
good?
to be excited by.
We good?
You're not wrong. Xbox basically did that with Starfield. Our show's next week. Starfield's delayed. Yeah.
We can't. Starfield's late. Oh, but we're gonna show gameplay. It's okay.
Games take a long time to make, though. I think like that decision would have had to been made at least 1+ years ago, if not more, for like it to have a significant.
I think
impact.
it was.
You think it was? Okay.
I
don't deny because I don't know.
No, I don't know either. I just don't see how. No, I think there's a reason they're doing this again. To read the announcement, right? In the announcement it says about new gameplay today. Publisher Warner Brothers Interactive included a very short note about the last gen version of the game no longer being released. No specific reason was given other than the fact that it would provide players with the best possible gameplay experience. Now, but the point is, they've said this, right? So now show me. Like, if I'm on an Xbox One version, if I'm still on an Xbox One or I'm still on a PS4, show me. Now show me why you couldn't have done this on the version of the console that I have. That's what I want to see.
Do you think, honestly, the best way to do that is like, here's our working version on the Xbox One and PS4, and here's it not running great?
No,
I don't think anything they could do would ever change that.
They won't do that because that's just going to look bad on them. I think what I mean by show me, I mean like now. The word I'm looking for is escaping my mind, but now do something that's not been done. We've been saying this. I've said this about games for ages. What was the last game that really changed the way we play games, or really showed us why? Like, I remember Ratchet and Clank being the big thing, right? Ratchet and Clank. This game couldn't be made on the PS4. Yes, it could have. It could have been made. It would have been different, but it could have been made.
But I think we're past the point where games like. Somebody can conceptualize something about a game and you can't argue that it could have been made. It would have been different, but it could have been made.
Okay,
I don't think you could ever make a game like that. I think
Okay.
that's out of reach now because we're so far along and technology's so advanced.
I just want those
at this
fast
point.
load times, Crash. We were promised fast load times, and we instant load times, Crash. We ain't getting no instant load times. I play
You
NBA
what?
2K.
You wanna know what it was? We were promised instant load times on games that were running on the Xbox One, and we got those for everything but GTA.
Almost.
GTA was a lot faster though.
Almost. A lot faster. A lot faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, but email in. You still using the Xbox One? Normal Xbox One? I'd
Does
love
this
to hear
decision
from you.
affect you as well?
Look, do you know what? That's a bad. Email in. Does this decision, Gotham Knights, is being cancelled on these consoles? Does this affect you, and how do you feel? I'd love to hear from you.
Can you stream Xcloud games on the Xbox One?
Bro, I haven't got a
Yes.
clue. I gave my sister
I
my
assume.
Xbox One.
Because I'm wondering if Gotham Knights is available on the cloud service. And
Would have
I'm not
thought
saying
so.
it will be. I don't know if it will be. But that would be an interesting time to experiment with that.
Yeah, I gave away all my Xbox Ones. Apart from my one the community bought me. That's the only one I still have. And when I say I gave away my Xbox Ones, I actually gave away Haley's Xbox Ones. So,
Wow.
but I bought a Series X, so we're good. Last,
Didn't you win the
No.
Series X?
I gave away it sharp. Next piece of news: People Can Fly say that in 2021, Outriders hadn't made a profit. People Can Fly released its 2021 physicals, which said its shooter title Outriders hadn't made a profit. The sales of Outriders were insignificant to recover the costs and expenses occurred by the publisher to develop, distribute, and promote the title, the company said in its physical report. Yikes.
Yeah. And funny thing is, Square Enix kept this one.
Yikes. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if it's just a case of like
Too much money put in?
The what's the group that bought them? Embracer Group? Was
Embracer
just like,
Group.
No, we don't want Outriders. You're gonna have to pay us to give us that.
If we take Outriders, we want to pay extremely less because we own this.
All jokes aside, this is unfortunate to see.
It wasn't
It's
that
not
bad a
too
game.
surprising. No, but it also wasn't.
That good a game.
It wasn't that good a game for like the amount of marketing this game had as well. This game had a lot of marketing push behind it.
Yeah, that was
and
the thing.
Just didn't. And there were a lot of people who were interested in it.
Okay, here's the one for you. Is this the first time a game has fouled Game Pass in Game Pass? Because we hear a lot of like Game Pass did wonders for me. Game Pass helped sales. Game Pass did this. Game Pass did that. This is the first time from my recollection that we're hearing like a game that launched in Game Pass hasn't turned out the way they would have wanted it.
I think about as far as big titles go, I would say yes. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like some smaller titles because there'll always be the case. I saw a discussion around this with PlayStation Plus recently where people were like, not every game that launches on PlayStation Plus and is the free game of the month does successful. But then there's cases like Fall Guys and stuff like that. I'd imagine there's a very similar argument for Game Pass where there's a lot of games that do get upticks in sales and stuff like that because of Game Pass. But there are some games that either don't see that boost or are hindered somewhat by the service. But I wouldn't imagine it's that large of a number. But as far as big games go, I wouldn't. I'd say like, Outrider's probably the first one that we know of.
Damn. Shame. It's a shame.
Do you think that if it was like a week later, not a week later, but a little bit later as opposed to a launch title on Game Pass, that would change that argument at all?
I think you get. So you're saying delayed the Game Pass access by a week. Yeah, but then and having it so people like us, would we have bought it?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. But would that have been enough to make a difference?
And would we be even more angry at Outriders after we've paid $40 for it?
Yeah. It was a $60 game, I think.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's in my hypothetical. It's like pay us now $40 to get it, or wait a week and get it in Game Pass.
So where you get like a deal on it or whatever.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
When you see the product of what that was, I don't know what they were expecting.
Yeah, like that.
It was the gameplay was good though.
It was a good game. It was fun. It wasn't
It
it
weren't
wasn't a
built.
triple A game like that.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, it clearly had a budget behind it.
Oh
It
yeah.
clearly was a larger game than a lot of other games, but it didn't have the level of polish or fluidness that you would expect from a big title like that. Especially even if you compare it to like Avengers. Avengers felt smoother and cleaner, even though there were some not so smooth aspects about that game. But the fact that it's not even, I would say that it's not comparable to Avengers in that regard. You don't agree with that at all?
Avengers is rough, bro. It's another Square Enix title that you just like.
Avengers is
It's bro. The
I'm
story's
talking about
fine. The single player stuff is
bugginess.
great.
It's not all of that stuff. It's just pure like gameplay. When you're in the fluid gameplay and it's working well.
I
You
played a
don't think
lot of
so?
Avengers.
I played a lot of Avengers too.
No, I know. I'm saying I play a lot of Avengers. When I was playing it, I never was like, yeah, this gameplay's like, this is it. Like, no. I think I probably gameplay-wise, I had more fun with Outriders. From a gameplay point of view. The different classes and stuff. Like, Avengers felt to me like a knockoff Avengers game. with the license. That's what it felt like.
Lost identity. You didn't know what it wanted to be.
That's
we
the
talked
problem.
about it so much.
Yeah. Last news story, Hitman 3 game director joins Crytek to direct Crysis 4. Hitman 3 director Matthias Engstrom?
That's right.
Kristen? I tried. Has left IO Interactive to direct Crysis 4 at Crysis Studios. The official, thank you, Crytek Studios. The official Crysis Twitter account shared the news below, saying that Mateus was joining the team this week to lead the new Crysis game, while he was only a game director at IO for 3 years. Mateus spent much longer at the studio, having worked there since 2014. Interesting. I've never been a Crysis guy. Ever. Like, I've never played one.
I added this story for you. Hitman 3 was your game.
Oh, Hitman 3 was but Crysis and
Doesn't
Hitman
affect it at all.
no. Hitman 3 is fantastic, but they're very different games. We're not going to get a... Yeah, it's not even close.
Didn't think that would be the conversation either, but...
Not even close. But hey, I'm happy. Do you know what?
Mateus.
I want Mateus to do well for himself, number one. Number two, I want Crytek to do well. Why, Crash? Ask me why I want Crytek to do well.
So Xbox can buy them.
No. So they can make a new... What, Crash? What game do I want?
Resident Evil.
No. From Crytek.
I have no clue. I don't know what Crytek makes.
Xbox One launch game.
Not Sunset Overdrive.
No.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The Rome game. What's it called? I forget
Rise,
what it's
Son
called.
of Rome 2, baby. Give me Rise, Son of Rome 2.
Such a underrated game.
Oh, for a launch title, bro, it was...
Yeah.
That's... Bro...
I think we should do a video where we discuss the launch of Xbox One and why it messed up, like Microsoft actually having good games and a good game lineup.
Fresh. Do you remember you're connected to your Xbox and doing this? Fire the cannonball!
No, I didn't do that. I got my Xbox One after they removed the Kinect from the...
Ah, damn, you missed that, Crash. You missed that, because I was doing that constantly. Don't forget, Xbox, turn off. Xbox, on. You have to talk like that to get it on.
I wouldn't have plugged in my Kinect.
You had to. At the time, you had to.
Did you
For it to
really?
work. Do you not remember this? Do you not remember when
I don't.
Angry Joe went up to Sugar Honey Iced Tea? What's his name? Larry Herb, Major Nelson, and was like, have you not seen that infamous clip?
I have not seen the clip, no.
What? You need to watch the Larry Herb Average Joe argument at E3 about Xbox One, where it like Larry Herb said like, "You're not a developer. You don't know what you're talking about." It's a full on like argument between the two of them. And at the time, if I'm not mistaken, you to use your Xbox, you had to have it connected at this time. That's why, it failed. So, but bro, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Let's plug. Get ourselves out of here. Crash, anything to plug this week, my guy?
My Xbox Me YouTube channel. We have plans to do pre-shows and post-shows for a lot of the
Oh,
E3
yeah.
stuff. I'm sure we'll be doing for the Summer Games Fest. We'll
Yep.
definitely be doing the Xbox one. Whatever pops up, we will try to do and see who's available to do things for.
Just the thought.
Yeah.
I think I'm talking out with you right now.
Yeah.
Should we, because my Xbox and me can, should we set up a Twitch account as well and just do a dual stream of the both?
I think we leave that question to the community.
Yeah. Are you guys interested in Twitch or are you interested in YouTube? Where do you want us? That's the question.
Yeah, because
Where
that's
do you want
not
us?
difficult to do at
No.
all. That's really easy to set up. It's just a question of, do people want that?
I don't know. Because we got a YouTube audience, you know? I
Yeah.
see you guys. Shout out to the commenters. Shout out to the people watching every week. We appreciate you. But the people that watch Matt's live streams, I know he would do so much better if he was on Twitch.
Probably,
Hard.
yeah.
So it's hard. Maybe we do. Maybe we just do both. I mean, we don't have to take affiliation on Twitch, so then we can do both.
So
as
it
long
wouldn't be even like
as long as we
dual
don't
stream and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. I am going to do a music festival in a server called the Vector RP server. So for people who don't know, in GTA Roleplay, I'm a musician, and it's taken over my life. Blah, 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 you already know this, but I'm actually going to a different server than I usually play in to do a big old festival. So if you are somebody who is even interested remotely, tiny bit in roleplay, it's not like it's not no pixel, so you can get in. You don't have to pay, no prior, no nothing. Just come by, come jump in the server. Come in, come listen to some music, come have fun, come make some friends. Interesting. Come do it. I got a new song out. It's called GSF on Top. Go check it out on Spotify as well. That's my 6th release. If you like the music, let me know. Crash, I want you to know. Yeah. Nobody has ever messaged in this podcast talking about my music. Nobody. Not one.
They're here for the gaming news.
They care about Xbox and Xbox only. They couldn't give two crud about MC Fix's music. Let me tell you.
Somebody's clicked on it. Somebody's gone from this.
Someone's
podcast
checked it. Someone's checked it out. 100%.
Yeah.
But
they just haven't wrote back.
They ain't wrote back. I wrote to them, but they still ain't calling. You know how it is. Till next time.
Good reference.
I tried. I love you. Leave you. See you later. Go, boys.
Goodbye.